Hey guys, and welcome to season 3 of the Us People podcast. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and in this season, I get to make my guests laugh, cry, and even make them think about life a little differently with the questions I fire over to them, which digs into their lives and professions a little differently. We even had a chance to change up the intro, giving you a fresh, new sound. I look forward to sharing season 3 of the Us People podcast with you. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Alvin. I'm a photographer. You're listening to Us People podcast with Sylvia Rocks. She rocks.
Made up my mind, now is my time to shine. Now is my time to shine. Time that you let go, time that you let go. Now is my time to shine. Now is my time to shine.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Us People podcast. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and today I'm humbled to have Alvin here with me, who is a photographer and director who is based in New York. Alvin, thank you so much for coming on the Us People podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. It's a great thing that you're doing. Connecting people and I'm honored to be part of this little movement that you're having.
No, I'm humbled to have you because without people like you, Alvin, believe me, I wouldn't have a podcast. So I'm humbled to have you on the show. So I have my gratitude goes to you. Thank you.
But you know what? Good people attract good people.
That's true. I totally agree with that. I so do.
That's like everyone. What's the secret in life? Just be good.
Yes. Kindness plays a huge part in life. Kindness plays such a huge part.
Just treat people with respect, and people will treat you back with respect. And people who don't treat you with respect, just say bye. Thank you.
It's easy as sometimes it's hard to let go because sometimes you feel like you want to help them, but sometimes they can take your energy and
and we only can help those who are willing to be helped.
That's true. Help themselves. That is true.
Because some people was just waiting for handout.
Yes.
But we can't, because there's a lot of things that we still have to manage. We have our family, blah blah, but we can do a bit just to help, but we can't help
do it all.
Totally. We can, it's a Chinese saying that I can lead you to the door, but you have to walk in yourself.
That's true. I like that. Normally I have to kick down a few doors, Alvin, before I get in. You do what you
have to do.
So, Alvin, tell me, I'm loving it already. I'm loving our conversation even before we started recording. But could you tell us a little bit about who you are and how you were brought up and how that influenced you to be the person who you are today?
So I was born in Singapore, a really, really tiny city, a very safe city, a very clean city. And I was brought up, my parents were lovely, they love us. Like, I have 2 sisters and they always look out for us. And I had a beautiful childhood, so I must say, but in a way I'm always different. And I was different, the things that I like are different. And I would say I'm someone that is always chasing for excitement.
Yeah.
So that makes me very different. And because we have the same education system as you. We do that at Cambridge. So, and you know how it is if you come from the Cambridge school. Everything is very systematic. So basically, you are in a system that is like filtered off. If you're good in studies, you go to the A levels, and so it's like a system that filters you out, so that you go. If you're good, you go up all the way to the top. But if you're shit all your life. So that's the system I grew up with. And so when I came I briefly came to America in New York, probably but let me bounce back. So I always find that I was different because I was not really good in sports
Okay.
and I was not really good in academic. And the problem, I loved arts. Like every time I'm doing something, like since young, I was like taking apart my dad's camera, trying to like put colored shoelace on my shoes. So I'm so weird, and like, and in a place like a small place in Singapore, like I'm considered like a weirdo.
No, I would say you're unique, not weirdo.
It's different if you have been to Singapore. So like you're like, oh, you're weird. No, you talk too much. Like you're so out there. There's no filter. I have no filter.
That's a
So I
good
say
thing.
what but it's good, but it's like a two-edged sword. Like it's good like when that's why I always keep like the people that I have around me are like really close friends
Yeah.
because I open up because they know how weird I am. And they call my bullshit up. So they're like, yo, like you're tripping, bro. Like, I'm like, okay. So like that's why I always have like a really close like people around me all the time. So and they're not afraid to call out my bullshit,
Yeah, which is
and
good.
which is cool. And then I came to and back to that, like, so because I was so weird, I always find myself really hard to fit in Singapore. Like working was not good, and I couldn't make like a good income there. And then I was like, okay, we'll go to New York. And then one of my friend who I was staying with, he was a really good hairstylist. So I was like, oh wow, it's really cool. You can be a hairdresser and be around cool people all day. Maybe I can be your assistant. So initially I wanted to be a hairdresser assistant.
Okay.
So I went on set and I was like, oh, you know what? It's like hairdressing is really, really difficult. Hairdressing is the most difficult thing, like, because, with all the techniques that they use, like the curling, and straightening, and like how you make it big, small, how you shape it, it's too much. And then I was on set and I was like, these guys are playing with lights, it's kind of cool. So I walked up to one of these guys, like, hey, do you want like whatever, like you don't have to pay me, like just let me hang around you guys. And then yeah, so I started hanging around with them and just like an extra hand, just like helping them with like bringing a C stand, blah blah blah. And then one thing led to another, and then they were like, oh, like you have to figure out like how to get proper paperwork back to New York, blah blah. So I came back to Asia and I was just knocking on doors. At the time, it's not as hard now. Now it's really hard to get an editorial
Yeah.
because basically like everyone is is DMing the editors, blah blah blah. So the editors are overwhelmed with photographers who at that time there was no social media. So basically you can just send an email or just walk into the office and like, hey,
Yeah.
can I do a couple of editorials or like portrait or whatever? I just need to shoot so I can have enough stuff to make like a book so I can get out the hair, like just I'll do anything. So and then that will happen. Like one magazine like let me shoot like one small stuff and an editorial, and then it grew to some. It just one thing leads to another, and then I was
Yeah.
shooting like campaigns. So that started out my career. And the funny thing is, I never even wanted to be a photographer. I just want to be an
Oh.
assistant.
See, when you have a calling, it calls for you no matter what you try to do.
So because I'm like, it's because I go on set. Oh wow, it's so cool, just to play with lighting and have no responsibility. You don't have to talk to clients. You just make cool lighting all day. So like for me, that was like heaven. And so I and then it's just like I'm just open like over a couple of months, I became a photographer back in my country. I was shooting stuff, so I was getting busy and I was starting to make some money, which was great. Um, However, like I knew my work was bad. I
Okay.
knew I knew that there was not the work that I could do better work. So I could stay in my country and be a photographer, make money, or I can drop everything that I have in Singapore and go to New York and start to learn photography from zero.
Okay.
So, and then at the time, I have enough portfolio. Like I shot for a lot of magazines, so good magazines, and I did like some big brands. So at the time, I have enough portfolio to come back to New York. So I was in my mind, I was thinking like, okay, maybe I don't have to come back as an assistant with this book. I could get a job, but that was naive because that I'll tell you why it's naive later. Um, so we came back to New York, and then I had an agent. I got an agent, and then I started to try to get work. But I realized that in New York is where all the best photographers are here. So, and like, and having left the country for like 4 years, um, everything changed. And New York is like this, like things change like in a year. Like all my friends left, so basically I have to start over again from zero.
Yeah.
So I went to intern at a studio called Milk Studio, which is amazing studio. Anyone that wants to come to New York, Pier 59 and Milk Studio, they are the best studio to learn because they really teach you how to be a good assistant first, and then
Yeah.
how to be and then like you will respect the craft because you have gone through. And I think like, and I work with a lot of photographers, and then some are really good, but then they don't they have talent. Some have a lot of good talent, but they don't come from a good training. That's why they lack in the sense of like, oh, like, they have only one style, and they
Yes.
call it a style, but it's not, because you can, for your own artwork, for your own personal work, you can have a style. But when a client hires you, you have to be a problem solver,
That's true.
because the client that a lot of money is on the line. Like this shoot that I'm doing, a lot of money is on the line. So like the set that we're building is crazy. So the client can't accept an excuse that, yo, it's not my style, I can't shoot it. No way, you have to do it. And if it's raining and like the client has spent so much money hiring the models, booking the place, blocking off the street,
Yeah.
and if it's raining, you still have to shoot it because you can't tell the client like, yo, it's not my style.
You have to make it
you know
work.
you have to be a problem solver. And I would ask everyone that seriously wants to be a photographer, at least go in this route of training. Even if it doesn't pay you, it's fine. Like, like, because I have, when I started interning, I wasn't paid. Like I was working for free for 2 years.
Wow.
I was, and some of my friends, like they were working in the day, they were working in for a photographer. At night, they are working in a bar just to make ends meet.
Yeah.
So I believe a lot of you guys in London is the same thing,
Yeah. It totally
you
is.
know. So it's not like, oh, on Instagram we are superstar, blah blah blah. We shoot whatever, but in our personal life we struggle for the craft that we like.
Yeah. Most definitely.
So
Most definitely.
so like, and this struggle is beautiful because without this struggle, you know, we will not know how bad it is or how good it is. Because
Yeah.
when you struggle, and then when shit hits the fan, like everybody is panicking on set, and then as a photographer, you can step up. It's like, yo, I got this. Like, don't worry.
Yeah. I know how that is, totally.
You know, and because you're and even more than before now, we have more photographers that are good. You know, so we always constantly have to be better
Yeah.
because everyone is good and everyone is better because they are more access like to knowledge because YouTube is the best place to
Learn.
learn
Yeah.
basically like and it's funny like I say this because when I started like way long time like maybe 15 years ago and the photographer will be like, yo, this is my lighting, you should not shoot this way, or this is my lighting, you cannot tell the other photographer. But I'm like, yo, I can see Mario Testino's lighting on YouTube. Are you better than Mario Testino? That's what I told him,
See?
you know. So it's not about, the more, and I think today, especially with something good that you are doing right now, the more we share, the better we are. It's a
Exactly.
new world that we are living in, and like someone might be listening to this and like, yo, this Asian guy is crazy as fuck, but I don't give a shit. But this is the truth, because of the corona and whatever, everyone is like, there's the social distancing. We see our friends that we don't see for like 50 years or 20 years, and we can't even hug him. So like
Yeah.
this whole situation that we are having right now, we are driving people apart. And then if we are still selfish, you know, then the world is going to be a mad place,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
definitely. Who are some of the people who influence you, Alvin, especially within
So many,
photography and
so
in
many.
life? Tell me some of them.
A lot of them are books, and I'm really lucky to have worked with a lot of good photographers as an assistant, and one of the guys that I really respected, and
Mm-hmm.
he's a great mentor of mine, is Diego Uchitel.
Okay.
And it's just like, like when you work with Diego, there's a certain kind of, because he's such a gentleman. He's such a team player, he's such a gentleman. So, you know and it's always, like when we are working together with our crew, it's always like, we are a team. And he lets us do things, until like to the stage that we are messing it so much, and he pull us back. He was like, oh, you can do whatever lighting, but like to a stage that he's like, yo, you've been fucking around with the lighting for like 3 hours, so it's time to get some work done. So that's cool because he's open, and because of that, you want to be a photographer. The more that I work with good photographers, I want to be good photographers because I'm like, yo, these guys are good. I can be,
Yeah.
you know, it's not only they take good pictures, the way they lead their life, with respect, the love for beauty, the love for nature,
Mm.
the love for people around them, it's like supporting your friends, and that's what makes, a person, whether you are like a cobbler or you are a garbage man, you have to have something that, you work towards,
Yeah. Totally.
and i'm I'm blessed because I get to work with all these people who is at the top of their game, um, and now having step up to be a photographer, and it's my turn
Yeah.
to inspire others. So because these guys inspire me, so for me, at the same time working on my career, I want to inspire, you know, the guys around me, that uh, they can do whatever they want, and I have their back. They can like, oh, tomorrow they are like, oh, yo, like I have this idea, let's go somewhere and shoot something. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go for with you, like, I'm gonna light it for you. I don't care, like I just want to make you look good. It's that kind of
Oh,
spirit, that
yeah,
that and I think like, and I need to emphasize this because I'm really really blessed because I have all these friends around me that always have my back, and like, and I will like you, like if you work with me, that I always have the best people around me,
yeah,
and they are not only because of attitude, and they are best at what they do, you know and and that's it. And photography, especially my type of photography, fashion photography, commercial photography, is a team game. So if my team players does not have their mind is not in the game, then I'll lose the game.
yeah. That
It's
makes
like
yeah,
I'm basically playing a basketball. So
yeah,
I'm just the guy who's standing below the hoop waiting for you to pass the ball to shoot it. So basically I'm the guy who shoots the hoop.
yeah.
But you guys are doing the work. Like these guys, look at them. They are working
I
so
can
hard.
see them behind you. I know that everybody else who's gonna be listening to this, they
So
can't see it,
I'm,
but
I'm just sitting here.
Alvin's sitting down talking to me while I can see guys walking past him lifting stuff left and right and left and right. And they're looking at Alvin because Alvin's sitting down talking to me. But these guys are working their backsides off, going up and
Yeah,
down. I know this shoot's gonna be a fantastic shoot just by how hard these guys are working behind you.
yes.
Oh man. What
Yeah.
has been the best photo shoot that you can tell me to date that has helped you as an individual to evolve in what you do and become a better photographer?
I have to say, the best shoot is the shoot that I'm gonna do next
Ah, I like that.
because I have this weird thing. I'm hyper competitive, so I'm always um, the next shoot is gonna be my best shoot. That's how I try to train myself to think because and also like I wouldn't say that I would want to say this to anyone who is a photographer and who wants to be a photographer, and it's like knowledge is the power. So don't worry about the camera. If everyone is shooting film right now, don't worry about the camera because there are guys who are shooting like big campaigns. They're shooting on a Nikon 850.
Yeah.
That the camera, the gear is the last thing that you should think of. You know, think of and learn from books, because the first day that I decided to be a photographer, I went to the bookshop, and then I told, it was on Lafayette Street, and it's funny, I saw this French lady again, and I was like, I and it was like 12 years ago. I told her I have no money at all, but do you mind if I come in and look at all the photo books? She told me, you can come in anytime you want, as long as I'm here. And I and it's funny, like this is 12 years later, I walked into the shop, and now I have some money, and I bought like some stuff from the shop, which is an expensive shop. So I bought like a couple of stuff, and I told her, when I first came to New York with no money at all, no money, you
Yeah.
let me come to the shop and read all your books. And she said, oh, I remember. So, and books, because the more you see beauty, the more you understand beauty.
That's true.
It doesn't matter if you like,
That's
you
true.
take a shot and on your iPhone and you're like, what do you think? It doesn't matter who they think, because they can think 1,000 things, but the photo is yours.
That's true. That's very, very
It's
true.
how your taste, how your understanding of your taste, and that's where the client hire you. And another thing that I would like to say, that a lot of photographers chase client. they reach out to client, blah blah blah. Don't do that. It, because when you chase client, you will always be tired because you're always chasing clients. Just when you have a chance to shoot for anything, just go in and do your best, and the client will chase you.
That's true. I agree with you because it happens.
Yeah,
I,
you're a photographer. Sometimes
I
even
agree
I've
with
tried
you.
it. I've tried to reach out, but it doesn't work for me because I don't know, like maybe I'm just not good in writing emails or something, but it doesn't work for me. So for me, the best thing that I can do is to show up on set and to play my best game.
Yeah. I
You
would.
know,
That's really good advice to give everyone because it's definitely advice that I had to learn. I never had someone to give me that advice. I had to learn on my own terms, just like you had to learn when you had
yeah,
to go into the bookstore
yeah,
and read those
yeah.
books.
And the books are the best, and books and certain photographers. And if you study the photographers, it's not just photos. You see if you study long the photographer long enough, you see their character.
Yeah.
Certain photographers, they like something soft. Certain photographers, they like a hard light, or
Yes.
and the photos are very in your face. So that's the character. But you have to find your own character as a photographer.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that like this photographer is at the top, and then you're gonna follow him, but it's not your style
Yeah.
because he's at the top because at this moment he's trendy. At this moment he has a connection with the world with this set of pictures. And we have seen through many phases of photography. you know in the past it was like the red and blue gel, and then it becomes the blue core, and now it's all so warm. So
Yes.
trend has changed. So you know you have to wait for your wave. It's like surfing, you have to wait for the wave to come. So if your wave is not ready, you're just
Yes.
paddling like crazy.
Yeah. And you're
you know
exhausting
you,
yourself.
you're exhausted. Instead, find something that you connect with,
Mhm.
and then work on that, and then when the opportunity comes, you're ready.
Yeah. I totally agree with you.
you
What are
know
you most curious about when it comes to photography now? What gets you excited about photography?
every day on set.
I thought so.
It's the best job. Like I would say, like it's the best job. And I always tell this, like it's amazing that we have the opportunity to make money and feed
Yes.
our families with this job, because it's not a hard job. you know if you really work, like, and I've worked other jobs before, and it's really hard. Like you are carrying bricks, or you have to deal with like a hierarchy of people that has you know or this system that they don't, they always try to put you down. But this this world that I live in is amazing because I can come to a shoot, and then if I don't vibe with the crew, or if I don't vibe with the brand or the client, the next time they book me, I can say no.
True.
So it's amazing job. But if I work for somebody, can I say no? They are going to pay my insurance, but if I say no, I'm going to lose my insurance for my family. So, and like, this is amazing job. Of course, like, sometimes we take it for granted, but it's still amazing job to take photos. Take
Yeah.
photos as a career is amazing.
Oh, trust me, I know. What do you
No,
do, Alvin, when you feel I love to ask this question because I feel this question is so important. What do you do when you feel uninspired, Alvin?
so I'm really into reading,
Hmm.
and there's a couple of books that help me a lot, which I want to share here. One of these books is called The Power of Now,
Yes, I've heard it. I've got it. Yes.
and
It's a blue
it's
and
really
white book. Yeah.
And there was this, and I also listen to a lot of podcasts because sometimes I really don't have time to read. And on the way to set, or sometimes if I really feel stressed out on set, I'll take a walk around the block with the podcast, and I'll listen to his podcast.
Yeah.
And there was one that he Eckhart Tolle mentioned, this women, if I don't correct me if I'm wrong, audience, but this woman was asking him, what if you are present at a moment but you still don't do a good job? And Eckhart answered with like so much confidence and so much assurance that he's like, if you are there 100%, you will never do a bad job.
That's true.
And that's what I want to practice, because as human beings, we drift all the time. We drift in and out. Today we are a good person, tomorrow I'm an asshole. So and it's constantly reminding yourself, like, you have to step up to be a good human being. And it's really important. Another book that I want to recommend is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, I'm gonna have to get that one. I haven't
That's
heard of
a good
that one.
one. So Marcus Aurelius is, as we know, he's a Roman king, and he was kind of groomed to be a king since he was young.
Yeah.
But he lead his life simple, and he does a lot of stuff like in the olden days, when you want to be a king or emperor, you would have to kill your brother or something. So, but instead, Marcus actually had a step brother, and when he's his turn to rule, he asked his brother to rule together the Roman kingdom with him.
Ah, see.
So Marcus was a different man. He was like they call him the greatest Roman emperor. And then it's not because of the wars he won, it's because how he led as a man, as a human being,
Yeah.
to do good. And I, for me, I want to do better. I'm not perfect. No, I have so much darkness in me, but I try. I try
Listen,
really hard to do.
Alvin, we all have darkness inside us. What
Yeah,
makes us different is us finding our imperfections as perfections, and then we evolve to become better. So it
yeah,
doesn't matter how much darkness you have inside you, it's how you handle that darkness to
yeah.
become better because you
That's
want
true.
to.
That's true. Yeah, and yeah, you're totally right. So every day we are managing our mind every day. So
Exactly.
so the mind is the thing that you have to manage, because
Yeah.
it's the one thing that we have control,
Yes.
and the one thing that is gonna, if we succeed or we fail, is all in our mind.
That's
You
true.
know,
That
and
is true.
especially in times like this, we really have to keep our mind strong, because we are living in uncertain times. Of course, it's not as bad as the wartime, but it's still uncertain.
Especially now because it's even more
Yeah.
so.
So we, the government is not gonna help us much, I guess, and we will not know with the lockdown or whatever. So basically, the only thing we have to switch is our mind.
Yeah. That's true.
So if we don't make the amount of money that we make in the past, it's fine, because the future is a change. And I know that I'm not way above a lot of people, but a lot of people has lost their job in the current situation. But then they would not take another job, as a delivery driver, or as an Uber driver, or like as a cashier, just because they have sit in a position that they make so much money. But this is survival. It's not about
Yeah.
ego.
Yeah.
So if tomorrow I'm going to lose my shooting gig, you will see me driving an Uber. You will see me at Whole Foods at the cashier, because you go into a survival mode when you need to survive.
True.
But I think um, we have not gone to that stage yet, but like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not working, blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, there's a bunch of work out there, but you just need to do it. I know you are like a big professor, but as long as you work for the 6 months and then or like a year, then when this thing tied over, you can go back to your work. At the same
Exactly.
time, when you're working, you're like, you're moving, you're exercising, you're like, you're using your brain. So you're not stagnant, you're constantly moving.
Exactly.
So when the time for you to get your job back or like even a better job, you're ready because you're in the work.
See? A man who knows. Well, you've been through enough, Alvin, I can clearly see. For you
Dude,
to
I've
understand
been a lot of
for
girlfriends.
you to understand exactly where what are you most proud of, Alvin, that you stand for in the
My
world?
son,
Oh.
my son, he's my biggest inspiration, and I want to be a good father for him. Um, and I hope he can grow up to have a good life, have fun, do the stuff he wants. Um, and I hope I can be a good example to him.
I
Um,
think you are.
yeah, and yeah, he's the proudest thing that I've ever done.
What is the best advice you've ever received from somebody, and how has that helped you in your life?
The best advice comes from one of my good friends.
You're smiling.
So,
He's smiling, guys. He's smiling.
so he's like one of my best friends. He always has my back and whatever. He always says this, and I will quote him. He's like, you know what? I will mess up the whole shoot. Even if I don't go do a nice lighting, but they will say that I'm a cool person to hang around with. So yeah, and I think that's the best advice because everyone comes from different places to my set. Everyone
Yeah.
comes with their different problems. Family, children, whatever. But when they come on set, you know, and when my team and I perform well, and they do stuff and they are inspired and we're working together, and it's like like the stylist is working hard just to make the picture good, the set designer, the producer is working hard, so like and that's a source of inspiration for us to be in this business because we are working so hard to make
Yes.
something beautiful,
Yes.
and that's inspiring to me because I get to work with really hardworking and beautiful people. So just to be on set is amazing, and and for me to even like have an ounce of ego, you know is I'm not allowed to have ego because these guys work really hard.
See?
They work really hard, and if like they work really hard to get me these jobs as well, because the producer, and the clients, they really work really hard to convince their bosses and the bosses and the board of directors, whatever, to hire this crazy Asian guy. So yeah, so they put their, they vouch for me. So for me to be on set, you know, I can't let them down. I can't let my team down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes total sense to me.
yeah.
Definitely. That makes. When was the last time you felt totally at peace with yourself? Oh,
It's
here's
hard.
one.
It's a hard one. You caught me.
Okay, here's one.
You got me a hard one. It's like a right hook that I didn't see. Um, you know what? I Because I have such a hyperactive mind. I think the only time that I'm at peace is when I'm behind the camera.
Okay.
So it's weird to say this, but I go into like a world when I shoot,
No, that makes sense.
and like basically like and it's this thing that when I'm behind the camera, it's like it's just me and this box is so it's like that box in my little world.
Yeah.
So whatever that whenever I'm in that little box is my world, that and I challenge myself in that little box. So I think sometimes shooting is where I get my peace.
See, that
Yeah.
that makes sense to me. What would you do differently? We're always constantly getting judged by who we are, where we come from, how we do things. But if there was no judgment in the world, Alvin, what would you do differently in life?
I think judgment will always be there,
Mm-hmm.
you know and I realized that because I used to be so insecure, and I always think that, oh, like I shot this magazine and they don't hire me again because I'm so bad, and I go into depression, blah blah blah. But now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, like you can't, like I would think that judgment will always be there. You just always have to go and kind of not let that affect you, because opinions are always going to be there, and especially in the world we live in. If I post a picture, 100 people will hate it, but then if 30 people will like the picture, I'm happy, because like, what, in this world there's still 30 guys that still think I'm
Exactly.
okay. you know you,
Exactly.
and it's a weird that I would want to make this example that a lot of people these days, they have a lot of money, they are millionaire, billionaire, blah blah. But if you look at their life, not a lot of them are happy.
Exactly. Yes, I speak about this every time.
And you see the guy who is homeless, you think he's dirty, but he's happy because
Okay.
nobody gives a shit about him. He can eat whatever, he can wear whatever, and he's being judged the whole day, and he don't give a damn.
Yeah.
And he never forsake. You realize that the homeless guy don't forsake.
Yes, true. It's true. And
Because,
they share a lot more. They're so selfless. They
yeah,
share. I
yeah.
remember I was walking down the road the other day, and a gentleman said, I said, would you like anything from the shop? And he says, no, 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 no. I have some bananas here. I want to give it to you. I was like, no, that's the only thing you have. He's like, no, I want to share with you.
That's cool. Yeah,
But
because
then,
I think it's like we should take a good example. Like, not that that we all have to be homeless, but when we don't give a damn about what people think about us.
exactly.
you know it's not in a way that, oh, I don't give a shit about anything, but it's like, don't let it affect you. You still have to be a good person. You still have to take care of your friends. You still have to you know show empathy to people that need your help. And but then, like, if you help them, like, there's a saying that my mom always say, when you help somebody, you shouldn't ask for return.
Exactly. Because you do
So
it because you want to, not because you have to.
yeah, and then, like, recently I have brought this to another level, because I was like, okay, I was on the train, and I saw this pregnant lady, but they were kind of like dope out, so they were kind of high. But I still give them some money, and my wife asked me, like, why do you give them money? They could have bought drugs. And then I'm like, it's not on me if they want to buy drugs, but I know they might need the money, and then one day I might be homeless. I might be begging on
Exactly.
the street, and I hope that there's someone there to give me $5. Someone on the train to give me $5 so I can get the fuck out of the train and lose this embarrassment. And so, and I think a lot of people we can help, but we don't actually know who we can help. Some people, they are just takers, but we
Yeah.
still have to do it because that's the way we are. When
Yeah.
we have it, it's a gift to give people because because we are capable to be able to give. That's a power by itself to give. And being afraid to give is like being afraid to make you stronger.
That's true.
you
That's
know
true.
and I mean, one day, who knows, like one day I actually need to beg on the street, but which I did before. When I first came, I was so poor, I was asking someone for money on the street just to buy a train ticket back home. So I know that it's not really fun asking people for money. So now whenever I can, and I felt that that person might need like a help for something, I'll do it.
See,
Yeah.
that's because you have an open heart.
Yeah, but I've been there as well. Like I've been through shit
Exactly. So
before.
you have
So
the experience of it. So what does Alvin? What does success mean to you as a person? What does it mean?
success means that you can do whatever you like, and you can contribute to. I think success is something that you can do what you love at a level, and then you can still support others. I think that's success. Like you could be dead broke, but you are always, you're always supporting others, or you have a group of friends. Like I would say my biggest success is I have a lot of good friends around the world, and I'm just happy to be their friends because some of them are like amazing musicians, and they text me on their phone. I'm like, why are you texting me like you're a famous pianist? I'm like, because I'm way below you. So, and I'm happy
Oh,
because and I'm around really talented people like directors and like way better than me, and they're still my friends, and they talk to me, which I think that's success. Like to have good people around you, and they want you in their company. I think that's success.
yeah, definitely. I like that.
you know.
What would you like your legacy to be when you finish on planet Earth?
My planet Earth. So as a photographer aspiration, I want to have a photo book, a couple of photo books, and I want to try to go into more documentary stuff, but not the kind of like document like like I did a series long time ago in Japan, like not long ago, the Rockabillys that I did for
Ah,
ID magazine. And then that kind of sparked me that like there's all this subculture that is so
yeah,
interesting around the world. And then at a point of time when I'm not struggling that much for money, I would love to just travel and like document like culture, subculture, so I can bring all these, collect all these stories and put it into books for people to see. Like they, because some, like, we are really fortunate, because living in the Western world, we basically
yes,
can travel anywhere. But there's people in India that for them, it's impossible for them to even go to school. So
yeah,
so and I think that's something that I would love to like provide. Like, oh, okay, like you get to see the world through my eyes, and like, and one of my buddies who's helping me in lighting, he did something really cool, and he did like his name is Harry Kong, and he has a YouTube thing that he walks around with, taking videos of the cities where he goes, and then I think there's a girl that wrote to him to thank him that, hey, thank you so much for showing all these videos. Because I'm crippled, I could not travel, I would not have ever like seen the world in this way if not for your video.
See?
So, and I think that's something beautiful, because we always live in the world that, oh, we are perfect and everyone is perfect. But no, we do not live in this world. There's a lot of people that is born with disability, but you know but they are so strong and positive. They find ways, not to complain, and like find ways to keep themselves entertained or keep their knowledge, to absorb more knowledge from the world we live in, through like, looking at all this video. They're like, oh, that's how Manhattan looks like.
See?
So I think, like, I'm older now, so I don't chase a lot of stuff that my younger self as a photographer. Um, my younger self, I'll be chasing magazines or whatever, but now I'm just like more focused on, you know, interacting with people, and like, and see how I can get a connection in the photos than just
Yeah.
photos. So, and I think from that, I think my leg now is kind of practicing, because I'm still doing the commercial work, but I'm using this time because the client trusts me more right now. I'm not like a kid that just graduated
Yeah.
from assisting. So, um, so they still let me do a bit of, so I don't have to. I still have to impress them, but not in the stage. That I can still be more connected. Be more, um, try to get some stuff, some emotional stuff from the models, my subject, the talents. So so I can try to bring the pictures to another level. And then when it comes to me to do my documentary work, it's a practice for me when I start, to try to go into the documentary world, which I'm totally not familiar. I would have this like this way to talk to people and to make them feel comfortable. Yeah.
I
So
like that.
hopefully I
What
get
is
it done before I die, but who knows?
Oh, you've got a long time, Alvin. You've got a long time.
Yeah, you never know
what
with
what
this virus.
Yeah, I know. That is true. I
Yeah,
I do
I was
understand
just
that.
thinking to myself, like, shit, I might die tomorrow.
No, I hope not.
Not because of the virus, like, not because of whatever, but it's just that we live in, like, before this virus, we always think that we live forever,
Yeah.
and then we never felt that, there's an urgency in life. But with this virus, it makes me think that, oh, there's more urgency in life, so every time I want to do something, I can't put it aside, because, you know, I just have to keep ticking the box, because, if I don't do
Yeah.
it, you know, I might never have the chance to do it again. Like, even like this podcast, like, you're like, oh, are you ready? I'm like, yo, let's do it. Because
Yeah, I
if
saw
I
it.
don't, and I'm like, if I don't do it today, and I'm like, I'm lazy, I'm gonna give you 1,000 excuses. I'm gonna be like, I'm not ready, this and that. So yeah, it's great that,
I'm glad you did do it, to be honest with you,
I'm
because
glad to
the
do
amount.
it, because you're such an amazing person,
Oh,
and I'm really glad to connect with you here.
definitely. We're definitely going to keep in touch even
For
after
sure,
this.
for sure.
Yeah.
You
What is
know it.
one thing? Yeah. What is one thing, Alvin, that you would say to your followers or your fans, and you have them, even if they're undercover, even if there's one fan that you have out there, about staying positive, being consistent in what you want to do, loving what you want to do, and no matter if you get depressed, disappointed, or things just generally happen in life, to keep them pushing on, what would you say to them?
I would say that difficulty comes to people who wants to do great things.
Ain't that the
If your
truth?
life have no difficulty, you'll never do great things. It's the challenge that make you sharp. So Even if it's the hardest thing, you have to do it because it's just sharpen you. It's like a knife, and
Yeah.
that's the reason, like, and that's how I, it's really self-centered for me to keep saying but I hope you guys don't feel that I'm self-centered. I just want to share something that I did when I was a photo assistant, or I was transitioning from a photo assistant to a photographer.
Mm.
I was still assisting a lot at the time when I was shooting, and even today, if I'm not working, I'll go assist because I have the mindset to be like, if I can be on set every single day, when I get my big shoot, I'm ready because every day I'm touching the light, every day I'm on set, every day I'm looking at all these guys working. So it's like it's hard. Like some of my friends are like, oh, like you don't have to assist anymore. I'm like, dude, he's crazy. People are paying me to go on set to practice. Who pays you to practice? If it's crazy. And then like they are like, oh no, I'm so like, your clients are gonna see you badly. I'm like, you know what? These clients that see me badly, I don't want them. They want to, like I want clients who are cool. you know why would I want clients who are judgmental? Oh, he's an assistant, we can't hire him. Like, you know what, whatever.
Yeah. I've
But
been there.
but I'm practicing. I'm practicing that on set. Those who wants to hire me, they know I'm practicing every
I would be
single
more
day.
inclined to hire you because you're practicing.
Yeah, and it's easy because it's so easy now because everything is instinct. I don't even have to stress because it's an instinct. Because I have been on set, assisted, and a lot of guys out there, and in London there's a lot of good guys out there because they have assisted, and I know a
Yeah.
lot of them because they are great assistants, and then they become good photographers. And that is something that we lose for the last 10 years because of Instagram. We lose that because if you have a million followers, you become a photographer. But in the past, you have to actually apprentice under someone before you become a photographer.
Yes, that's very true.
So, and I think the ones who are still great because they have apprentice under someone, because they have practice, they put in like 6 7 years of like training. Would you hire, like,
Yeah.
for instance, if you want to watch a basketball game and I tell you the tickets are $500, would you watch someone that has not practiced, who is Instagram famous, or you want to watch someone who has practiced for 10 years?
Of course.
That's your
The
answer.
second one.
That's your answer.
So-
So easy. They're so easy, and clients these days, it's so complicated. They're like, who should we hire? But your answer is right there. Clients, it's easy. If I want to hire like a singer or whatever, I'll hire someone that has practice a lot. And even if I don't see the practice, I listen and I feel it. It's all about feeling. When someone is good by feeling. you know
exactly.
you walk in, and when like, I would love to say this again and again, and because I work with big photographers, when you walk in, even if they don't know about lighting, they know. you
Yeah.
know even they come from a long place and they have jet lag, they know because the training is there.
Yeah. They know instantly.
you
Move
know
that there. Move
the
that.
training
Move that there.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the training is already there because they have done it. you know Either like some of them are like born because their parents are artists or whatever, but the training is there. It's not
It's
even
programmed.
superficial. It's in
Yeah.
the DNA. you know
Yeah.
they are good. The goodness is in the DNA. So, and guys like me, like, my parents are not artists, so I have to work, for 10 years just so that it comes in my DNA.
Yeah. See? I love
So
that. I love the way you've explained that.
yeah, and hard work is fun. And it's good to work hard because end of the day you're like, oh, I'm so tired, but it's great because I did a good job.
Oh, I got one more for you, Alvin,
Yeah.
which is, could you tell us where we could find you on all your social medias so that if anybody would like to get in contact with you or look at your work or understand where I'm coming from, because I looked at all your work and I think you're an amazing photographer.
Thank you.
You need to carry on doing your graph. So could you tell us where we could find you?
Right. On social media, my whatever is called Alvin, ALVIN KEAN WONG, and my website is the same, ALVIN KEAN WONG.com. I need to update all this stuff because I'm really bad with that. But I'll make sure I'll update it soon. Yeah.
Alvin, I want to thank you so much for coming on the Yes People podcast. No, you've been a great guest. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the Yes People podcast. And please remember, you can subscribe to Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and any other platform that you prefer listening to. Please also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you would like to donate to the Yes People podcast, simply go on the Savio Rocks website or just type in paypal.me/Us People podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Stay happy, stay positive, and as always, please continue to be kind to one another.
Time to let it go. Now's my time. Now's my time. Time to let it go. Now's my time. Now's my time. Time to let it go. Now is the time for me to focus. Stop all that playing hocus pocus. Stop doing it yourself. You need a little help. This time I want to see you shining. I think you need a little guidance.
I'm good. It's amazing. I love it. You take care. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Trust in the process. Forget all the losses. You know that it's worth it. Cause nobody's perfect. Sometimes you need to say